There's nothing in my
And
area.
we are live here in Crushing Activity, Season 1, Episode 28 of Unique, Really Useful Tank Engines. So, the
Hey
first engine
everyone.
that we're going to talk about is
Oh,
the
okay.
United States Army Transportation Corporation S-100 tank class 060 switcher tank engine type wheel arrangement steam locomotives. Care out there's even like so. Let's get on to the story of them, history of them, their geography about them.
All right. Well, I'm just letting you know, guys.
The
I'm just
United
letting you know
States
that.
Army Transportation Corporation's USA Corporation, aka USATC for short. S-100 class is a 060 steam locomotive that was designed for switching, aka shunting duties in Europe and North Africa during World War II. After the war, they were used on railways in Austria, China, Egypt, France, Great Britain, Greece, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Italy, Netherlands, Palestine, the United States, and Yugoslavia. Wartime development and use. The S-100 is a side tank designed by Colm Howard G. Hill. In 1942, the USATC ordered 382 S-100s from the Davenport Locomotive Works of Iowa. H.K. Porter Incorporated of Pittsburgh, and Vulcan Iron Works of Wilkes-Barre. They were shipped to Great Britain in 1943, and they were stored until 1944. After D-Day, they were shipped to continental Europe. Used after the Second World War. After the Second World War, SNCF bought 77 S-100s and designated them as O-30TU. Yugoslavensky Zelensky's or Zelensky's or whatever you want to pronounce it, because I sometimes have a little bit of hard time pronunciation, but please don't mind. And don't sue and kill and murder me for it because of this extreme portion situation that takes the extreme. Yugoslav state railways bought many S-100s and designated them Class 62. In the 1950s, Jay-Z assembled more examples, bringing the number of Class 62 to 129. The Hellenic State Railways in Greece acquired 20 S-100s and designated them as SEK AA class. Delta Alpha. Österreichische Bundesbahn in Austria acquired 10 and designated them as Class 989s. Ferroville dello Stato in Italy acquired 4 and designated them as Class 31s. Several were sold into industrial use in the U.S., including to Georgia Power and Oklahoma Gas and Electric. The Orange Nassau Mijnen, a coal mining company in the Netherlands, acquired 2 S-100s USATC 4389 in 1948 and renumbered them ON26, aka ON26 for short, to even port 2533 and ON, aka on 27, 27, 27, Demon to 4, Demon 4, Demon to 4, 20, 25, 30, 32, 25, 30, respectively. The ON26, aka on 26 for short, survived the scrapyard and was sold to a museum railway. Stoom train goes Borselling. Right, guys. I'm having a little bit of hard time sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time pronunciation. The Southern Railway from the United Kingdom bought 15 S-100s, 14 for operational use and 1 for spare parts, and designated them USA class. Other S-100s entered British industrial use with the National Coal Board. So use with British industrial use with the National Coal Board, Longmoor Military Railway, Austin Motor Company, and others. China acquired about 20 S-100s, designating them Class XK2. In 1946, Egyptian State Railways bought 8 and renumbered them 1151 to 1158. The UK War Department loaned 6 to Palestine Railways. In 1946, PR bought 2 of these, both of which subsequently entered the stock of Israel Railways in 1948. The Iraqi State Railways bought 5, designated them Class SA, and gave them fleet numbers 1211 to 1215. All 5 were Davenport Bill examples, at least 2 were still in service in March of 1967. 1211 at Basra and 1214 as the station pilot at Baghdad West. And as for the Davenport Locomotive Works of Iowa in the United States of America, the word Davenport in the Locomotive Works of Iowa in the United States, the first word Davenport in the sentence has the same name as Andrea Davenport's last name from the Ghost and Molly McGee, which is outstanding. Just not a coincidence. A little bit of a fact, too. Post-war design influence. Several European railways produced designs based on the S-100. Jay-Z added to their classics too by ordering several similar examples from Duro Zakovic, factory of Slavonsky, Broad, Croatia. These differed in minor details, principally the use of plate frames instead of bar frames, resulting in a higher boiler pitch. This gives them the steam pipes and shoulder instead of being straight, and requires smaller domes with a flatter top to fit Jay-Z's loading gauge. Poland built several TEKH from Falobek TKH-49 locomotives. These have a similar outline but includes various differences, such as the use of 2 domes instead of 3, driving onto the second axle instead of the third, a different cab, etc. British Great Western Railway, aka GW 4 short, had GWR for short, had used many S-100s in South Wales during the Second World War. The GWR 1500 class was partially inspired by the S-100 and its use of outside cylinders and short wheelbase. Continuing commercial use. A small number of former JZ62s remain in commercial service. More than 65 years after they were built, at least 2 work as switchers, aka shunters, at the Arcelor Metal or Arcelor Metal, whatever you want to pronounce it, because sometimes I have a little bit of mispronunciation. Sometimes a little bit of mispronunciation. Sometimes a little bit of mispronunciation. And sometimes a little bit have a little bit have ins mispronunciation or pronunciation. Steel plant in Zenica, Bosnia Herzegovina or Bosnia Herzegovina or whatever that's meant to. I mean, like, I mean, I was really like, I just sometimes I have a little bit of mispronunciation or pronunciation. But anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, so survival and preservation. We're at survival and preservation. We're at survival and preservation. We're at survival and preservation. Today, more than 100 S-100 survive, either preserved, stored, or derelict. Most are in Europe or North America, but there are also 2 in China and 1 in Egypt. Project 62 has an online database of them. Private owners in Barbour, Wisconsin are currently restoring S-100 number 5002. Number 5002 was used for the naval yards in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and later sold to the E.G. Lavino Company in Pennsylvania, then sold to the Kentucky Railroad Museum. In 2006, one was purchased for preservation from steelworks in central Bosnia and was sent to Britain. And here, which was again extremely exciting, taken to extreme, in fic. So we're at in fiction. So we're at in fiction. An engine of this prototype appears in the Thompson Friends TV series as Rosie the Tank Engine, which is a fact, right, guys?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then also when there's the next thing to talk about, can I also read the next one? Like when I want to read the next uh article about the one of the unique, really useful tank engines.
You can try talking about another tank engine.
And then you'll try to send that Wikipedia article right here in the text, right?
Right, and I mean, like, I for like, also, I mean, like, I for like, Shane also talked about a fun fact about the U.S. Army O60s. There were two types of O60 engines, which are the S1000 tank engines and the O60s, which are tender engines, which two are presented, which 40, 39, and 9 are preserved. And his unique tank engine we should talk about for this topic is the Canadian National X10A. And number 47 is a class of 460 tank engines and the only types of engines on excursion duties. So let's talk about the Canadian National X10 and X10NA. I think that's a great locomotive that we can talk about.
Right.
I'll send you the
Also,
link where
JP's
you can
here.
find.
Can also JP's here. Can you add him in here? Because I see him here.
Hold on, you can try to click the link for more information. So, Alan, try going to this. So, Ralph and Catherine, Ralph and try going to this.
No.
Or actually, Ralph and Catherine Productions, you should actually go look this
Okay.
up. Ralph and Catherine
Sorry.
Productions,
Uh, sh- um.
make sure to click.
All right. I'll try my best then.
It's on the Kano Trains website.
All right.
And because Shane O suggested me to talk about the Canadian National X10A class. 464 Kitchen. Hey, Manuel!
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Manuel.
We're
What's
talking
up?
about unique, really useful tank engines. I'll
And
talk about
also,
Rosie's basis
also,
of the S100 tank engines.
and
Cool.
also Elijah. JP. Check JP backstage because he's in backstage,
Yeah, I
and
think
you'll
he
try to
Coming
is.
add him in
soon,
Yeah,
so
here
don't
I
worry.
checked. I checked. He's there. He's actually there.
Here does it show. So, Real Frank Kitchen Productions, you have the link of the Canadian National X10A. Hello?
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Right
I'll send
here.
you in the private chat just in case if you're curious to read the
Oh,
information.
oh, do you want me to read that? I can read that.
You can read that, Manuel.
I got it. Give me a
It's
second.
very good.
All right, I'm fine with
Just
that.
don't buy the product. Just read its information
Oh
instead.
crap! Oh crap! I accidentally sent the wrong. I actually pressed the wrong link. Whoops! Hold on. I got it. I got it now. Okay, just a second. So, okay. All right, I got it. I got it. I'm in. I'm in now. All right. Okay. 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 The CN X10 A4-6-4. Oh. Okay. That was built in 1914 by the Montreal Locomotive Works. The Grand Trunk Railway took order of 6 large 4-6-0 10-wheelers with a built-in 4-wheel tender attached, making it 4-6-4 tank engine, classified as the K2. These locomotives were used for the fast commuter service in the surrounding Montreal area. They were number 4550 with 63 drivers, a higher 210 PSI boiler pressure, and a shorter 50 feet length. These engines were idle for quick acceleration and navigation through the tight clearance in the city limits. In 1923, the Grand Trunk Railway became the Canadian National, and the K2 class became the X10A. They saw usage on commuter service until 1961. 46 is currently under restoration by the Reverie Museum of Bruce in Valley Junction, Quebec, Canada. 47
Manuel,
was sold. Yeah.
Manuel, what? Sorry, to interrupt, but what does mean? Like, I'm gonna ask for like, and because 46 is under restoration to running condition, I would love to see it run again one of these days.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be like the. It just reminds me of the other steam engines, like the Cotton Belt train, the steam engine one, the one that's in preserve in Pennsylvania, I think, either Pennsylvania or Virginia. I don't know, but either those two states. I don't know that much, but like I know why they don't like that because the heavy wheels, the heavy everything, it would just cause that much damage, you
It's
know.
undergoing a restoration to running condition. I just hoping for it to be restored to running condition as possible.
Okay.
I saw its recent 2011 photo. It's still going on. And you can also read 47. Okay?
Oh, do you want me to continue reading?
You can continue reading.
Oh yeah, okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, number 47 was sold to the F. Nelson Blunt for use with his newly formed Steamtown operation out of the North Walpole, New Hampshire. Sorry, just need to drink of water because I get tired when I get reading. Okay, she had received a fresh overhaul in 1958, so she was found to be in an excellent condition. Number 47 was fired up in 1961, but unfortunately, her boiler certification paperwork had been lost in a roundhouse fire. So after only 5 weeks of operation at the Steamtown, the Interstate Commerce Condition Force
Commerce
forced
condition.
Commerce Condition forced 47 back into retirement until a full boiler inspection could be made. After Steamtown's dams in New Hampshire, she was transported to Bellows Falls, Vermont, with the rest of the collection. She then has transported to the new Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where she resides today as a static display. Number 49 is currently on display at Expo Rail in St. Constant, Quebec, Canada.
Well, if it wasn't for her boiler certification paperwork wouldn't have been lost in a roundhouse fire, then it could have been donated to F. Nelson Blount along with
That's
the
the thing I
locomotive.
want to attack you about. Like, what is exactly what they need for the boiler inspection? Like, was that supposed to be in what Canadian had? Like, the Canadian Railroad had that kind of option, or was it
Well, if
mandatory?
it wasn't for that roundhouse fire, then they would have. Some of the volunteers would have noticed that number 47 says boiler certification paperwork was still there, and they would have mailed it to Steamtown Nationals. They would have asked one one of the railroad or railway fuel story on Canadian, British, and American. Hidden about where it was 47, and Canadian National would have told all of them that it's actually on display at Steamtown, running an excursion at Steamtown National Historic Site, and they would have mailed it to Steamtown and North Walpole, New Hampshire.
Hmm. Well,
And
let's talk
the
about like the
locomotive
boiler
could have
thing.
been
That's the
running. The
thing.
locomotive could have been running today too.
Honestly, yeah, but like at least the good part about this is that it's not scrap. That's the good thing, you know. Let's just think that, you know,
I mean, like,
like
I'm
at
gonna ask,
least
like,
it wasn't scrap. That's the thing. At least they didn't end up scrapping some of their
like,
engines. Imagine if they
I mean,
did,
like,
that would have been so tragedy. To be honest.
just like 5620. I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest, Brody. Like, just look how bad the condition is. Canadian National 47. Look,
I mean, yeah, I can see that from the description
that's so
about it. To be honest,
sad.
I know it is. It looks to be outdated. To be honest,
And
like I
overlooked,
know these
which
type
is,
of engines they have big
oh, it used
tenders,
to be
but
so
this one has
good
small. This one
during
has
the
small.
50s. Its condition used to be so good during the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 8. During the
Yeah, I can see the
60s,
features
70s,
right here. Look, I can see most of them.
20s,
You know,
30s,
the
40s, 50s,
animated
60s,
bell,
70s,
the
80s.
colo, the firebox, the fireman.
Return to
Yeah.
2000s to now, present, aka now, interested and hopefully will receive a cosmetic restoration one of these days in the not too distant future. And hopefully would have a chance to run again. You can also read number 49 segment.
Hmm.
You can continue reading number 49.
Oh god. Okay. Let me just find him. Just give me a second. No, that's how it ends. Actually, it ends like
Well,
that.
you forgot you forgot to read 49's inspiration was currently on display.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. Did I? Oh yeah, I did. Oh, okay. Just let me. Uh, oh, I'm going for it. A second. God damn it. Hold on. I just need to find it. Hmm. Oh, okay. Here it is. Um, yeah, I did say that the 49 is currently on display at the Expo Rail in St. Constant, Quebec, Canada. Right there, that's where I finished.
Right. And anyways, we're gonna talk about a wheel arrangement, and also they also use the 466 tank, 464 tank engines with for for other usage in the United States, which are from the either the Central Road, New Jersey actually had these. Look, actually used this type of wheel arrangement, and one in Germany that
Hmm.
you used a 464 tank engine for
Oh
the
yeah, Germany were
Deutschen
honestly so proud with their new
Reichsbahn
technological
for
stuff,
the
which I heard.
DRG for the Deutsche Reichsbahn okay, Gesellschaft,
Go ahead.
aka DRG 61 class streamlined steam locomotives that were express train locomotives but specifically built for Henschville for the Henschville Wegmann train service with the Deutsche Reichsbahn Gesellschaft. And they're actually horrible. They were horrible. They were horrible, and they were horrible. And then the 61, but those are actually really useless engines because of all the problems it can. Because first of all, the DRG 61 class streamlined steam locomotives, they were streamlined tank engines. But why would you streamline a tank engine? It doesn't make any sense, Manuel.
That's honestly something that I wanted to talk about. To be honest, that's to be honest, that doesn't make sense. That's like saying that you would just put something in an engine and
It's
you
like when
know
you
what's
put
gonna happen.
streamline, because I mean, I don't mind the streamlined Thomas. I just don't mind the streamlined Thomas being streamlined in the Great Race.
Yeah, honestly. It's like remember like from the movie, like it literally just tells that Gordon's safety valve wasn't placed. That's like you're doing that same mistake. You don't know what happens if you make that kind of crucial mistake. You're not only gonna lose, you're not gonna be getting lawsuits or nothing like that, but you're also gonna
Well, it
you're
could
just gonna
cause
hurt everyone.
Gordon to almost kill himself and have a boiler explosion.
Exactly, he was gonna have a boiler explosion, just like the Gettysburg one. To be honest, literally.
Just like way worse.
But yeah, like what your point is, like your point about the whole entire thing. Yes, that's really ridiculous. To be honest, like why would you do that? Like why? Why?
Let's see.
That's like
Just
basically you're
streamline
trying
the
to
tank
replace your
engine.
shoes. You know, like let's
And
say
also
you.
the DRG Class 61, and we all know the story because they were a real wheel arrangement of 464. They had different wheel arrangements, but the 61, the first member of the class was number 6100, which was a 464 tank engine, just like Canadian National 47, 46, and 49. And also the Central River, New Jersey 464 tank engine type wheel arrangement steam locomotives, and also the 464 tank engine Baltic Hudson type wheel arrangement steam locomotives that were used from the Furnace Railway, and also in the United Kingdom. And I think for the London Brighton South Coast Railway too, Manuel.
Mm-hmm.
And also, and again, 464 tank engines were nothing new in Germany. And the worst one, 6122. Oh my god.
Oh
It was a
my god,
466
that's
tank
just.
engine.
I know.
And also the 6111 was built in 1935 by the Henschel Locomotive Works. So Henschel and Son Locomotive Works and Kassel, Germany. And then in 1939 we got the 6102, which didn't have the same 464. Well, it didn't have the same. Well, it was a 466, but which didn't have the same real arrangement as the 6111 and the other 464 tank engine Baltic Hudson type wheel engine steam locomotives that I mentioned earlier. But instead of being the 464, it was a 466.
Yeah,
Because
honestly,
one of
big
the reasons
mistake.
why the 6111 had 2 cylinders and the 6122 had 3 cylinders, because they need to have a larger call bunker and or capacity, more or
That's
water
literally
change capacity.
understandable. To be honest, it's like literally understandable. Literally.
Right.
Like that's like saying you
Yeah.
have to prevent
And
something
it
from
also had the
happening, but
same
like
wheel
you cannot
arrangement.
do that.
It also had the same wheel arrangement as the Boston and Albany 466 tank engines, but those were much better. Because first of all, they were non-streamlined steam engines, but they just looked like a New York Central Hudson as a 466 tank engine type wheel engine steam locomotive, because they needed a bigger coal bunker capacity and water tank capacity, no water tank capacities.
Hmm.
And don't forget that Illinois Central had a 266 tank engines, which had the same 6 trailing wheels as the 466 tank engines from the Boston Albany and the 6122. Well, in
Yeah, I
61,
heard of that.
but any, but thank God, neither of these locomotives had been preserved, and the 6111 was retired in 1952 and was scrapped in 1957, whereas the 6102 was used with the based frame for Germany's, where this, what does it mean? Like, I'm gonna be honest, where like 6101 ended up, was retired in 1952 and then ended up in East East Germany in scrap, and was scrapped in 1957, whereas the 6102 was moved into West Germany, to be, with its frame to be used as the base, with the main frame and base frame for Germany's greatest national spare parts, which is the DR Class 18201 diesel electric steam locomotive.
Hmm.
And trust me, that thing was amazing, Manuel. Do you think it's way better than the 6101 and 6102, which is the biggest nightmare at the two?
Oh, yo, that honestly,
I'll
first of
show you
all,
how
oh my god.
I'll show you how the 61 the DRG class as 61 looks like, because they're just horrible. I'll show you the 6111 first.
Yeah, okay, I see.
So this is the 610001, which was a 464 tank engine. And here we got the 61002. And you see, the 61002 is actually the biggest nightmare. And the DR18201.
Well,
Well,
that explains everything
German
actually.
stream engine. Do you think it's good? Way better?
Hmm.
Just trust me. That
Hold on. Let me.
semi-streamlined steam
I want to see
locomotive.
the picture. I want to see the picture myself. Hmm. Okay, so that's the other engine. Show me the other
That's
engine.
just amazing.
It is
That's
amazing,
the
actually.
That's the 61001. It's horrible, but 61002
At least
is
it
the
ain't like one of
actually
those
the
little
biggest in it.
diesel EMDs like the one they use for the city of San Francisco. I mean, what was the engine type again? I forgot. It was city of San Francisco. I know it was diesel engines. I know it was diesel engines, but what type of diesel engines? I don't know.
It's from the EMD F7 or E8.
Yeah, that one. That's even more
And
better
also
than that.
that's the red that's when the 18201 was red at the time.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's also the fastest operational steam locomotive in the world because let me just double check its top speed. And
Oh,
it
their
also
top
used
speed.
it was built it was actually built in 1960 with only one, which is the sole example ever built. It's the
Hmm.
German Express locomotive. Number 18201 of the Deutsches Reichsbahn East Germany appeared in 1960 to 1961 at the Meiningen Steam Locomotive Works as a conversion from the Henschel Wagman train locomotive of the infamous 61002. The tender from um a DRG class 44 T10 Zakopaltek wheel arrangement steam locomotive number 44 468 and parts of an H45024 and a class 41 and is the fastest operational. And then Mallard was originally the fastest operational steam locomotive in 19 in 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 between 1986 and 1988 during its anniversary record-breaking runs. Well, they should run it again, hopefully later this decade. And also, and for conversion of the DR Class 22, new boiler and parts of the unsuccessful high pressure locomotive 4524 outside cylinders, trailing wheels, and reel section of the locomotive frame, as well as the tender of the class 44 or locomotive number 44 468 were used. The inside cylinder of the three-cylinder engine, however, was not, however, taken from the infamous 6100 6102, new one was made. Other technical improvements were rig and back counter pressure, brake, and just seal ejector, and the locomotive was streamlined at the front and over the boiler fittings. And the locomotive was given its number to commemorate the first German locomotive with a 462 Pacific wheel arrangement, the Baden 4F of the Baden State Railways, and later the DRG Class 18.2.
Honestly, I'm
And
gonna be honest, bro. I'm
and
gonna be honest.
exceeded at an insane speed at 113 miles per hour, but not as fast as Mallard. And then
Exactly.
since 1970, they changed. It was renumbered into 020201-0.
Yeah. I would assume that like probably people didn't have that much budget at the time. I could just assume that, I could just assume because of that. Like, if I was you,
Yeah, and it's still around today, thank God. And it's
well,
one of the
honestly, at
fastest
least
steam
it's still
locomotives in the
around.
world.
That's the thing. At least everything. To be honest, when I look at steam
But the
engines,
but the do you know what's the true fastest steam locomotive in Germany? The DRG Class 05. I can
I
show
heard,
you the
I heard, I heard people say that.
but
I was
Mallard is
gonna
the
say this because
fastest.
like I know that much. I'm not that much of a, I don't know about that much of engines, but I do know that that engine was popular,
And also
which I heard people
and
say.
also oh oh The British beat the Germans with the 050001. The British Railways 050002,
I
which it
am
was
so
the fastest steam
surprised that the
locomotive in the
British
world.
actually
But they
just
actually
won.
scrapped it because because the 050001 was actually the one who broke the record. It was not the 050001. They just made a gigantic mistake. They take it to the extreme. And it would be if we actually had the 050002 preserved and the 050003 a without being a coal-fired cab forward locomotive, because first of all it was just a failure, and oil-fired cab forwards were much more successful, and also they
I wouldn't
made
call
it
it a
they
failure,
converted
to
into
be
more
honest.
conventional.
I wouldn't call it a failure. I would just call it that it's just the piece, like something that the Dwayne Johnson would say. You know, The Rock from
The
WWE, the guy.
biggest piece of dog, but we cannot say
Crap.
the word.
Yeah, dog crap. Just
And
crap.
but crap.
Yeah, I know. That's
But
just.
we all know Mallard, which is Spencer's cousin, is the fastest.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot what Spencer's type of engine he was. I actually forgot
What?
about
He
him.
was an London Northeastern Railway 84462 Pacifics.
Oh, okay.
And one thing,
Mm-hmm.
the map, and also the Mallard went 126 miles per hour on a downgrade
Hey
hill.
guys.
But
Yeah.
Also, Alex is also here in the live while he's calling me on Discord.
nice job,
Okay.
Jeff is to
Okay.
use.
Sure.
Mhm.
I forgave you the thing, by the way.
But
Anyway,
anyway, there's some people who don't support Mallard's record. Rather the fact due to Mallard not obtaining the speed for very long, but instead they sided with the 05002, who went on level track.
Okay, my okay.
And of course, we all know that the Pennsylvania Rarity 1 number 5550 is going to break the Mallard speed record. But with all the problems that I mentioned earlier, that it may
Wait.
cause
Wasn't
the.
one of the videos that included the one that he said about the worst trains in the entire world from?
No, the Pennsylvania T1s were the one of the five amazing trains that never stood a chance, because when the Pennsylvania Road was attempting, one of the reasons why is because the Pennsylvania Road was attempting to replace their famous K4 462 Pacifics, which were Hanks's bases, and they attempted them with the two K and infamous K5 462 Pacifics.
I see.
But they were intentionally terrible, which were also in part 18 of one of his worst history deducts is one of the worst trains ever videos. And when they got the T1s ready to go between 1942 to 1956, well, diesels were on the market. And none of them scrapped. Well, if one actually did escape the cutter's torch, then it could have been saved.
What's good, guys?
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, man?
What's up?
Nothing. Yourselves?
Hey, bro,
Please. We don't want to get strike.
Yeah. Well, actually, we didn't get a copyright strike. Actually, not even from that.
All right. But we all know the T1 is going to break the world steam speed record, hopefully in 23. But with all the problems I mentioned, if the cylinder heads actually blew off, the boiler explosions and derailments, and also killing, and also hitting that people and student per step kids, students, people, and pedestrians. Well, they're not looking out for the train, and not watching where they're going, not when they're paying attention and listening to what the rail crossings are telling them, and also suffering. See, abysmal statistics. See, this is again the absolute worst train wrecks ever. Then breaking the world steam speed record nowadays, but breaking the world steam speed record is actually kind of pretty pointless and ridiculous. And granted, somebody did jokingly write duck for dinner on the boiler barrel. That's what Jim Vanderkolk said. But again,
Well,
it
honestly,
was a
there was something
joke.
else that I wanted to ask you. Something else too, actually.
It's not going to happen
Uh,
in real life. Even the
you
trust
know
is giving
Duke,
up.
right? The old
Yeah.
engine.
Yeah.
Well, what engine's he based off? I want to know about some of the narrow gauge engines, to be honest. I know Scalori is honestly a saddle tank engine, just like Percy.
Well,
And
Duke's
I just want to know
base
about Duke.
is it. He was built in 1879, and he was based upon a true story about an engine that was abandoned in a Brazilian rainforest. And Duke himself is based on Prince, a tender engine from the Festiniog Rally at Porthmadog in North Wales.
Hmm. So it was basically a true story, except it's not on the island of Sodor. It's in another country. Okay. Man, honestly, I would love to watch Grandpa, to be honest.
Me too. We should
Because
do that in a show night one of these days in the future.
honestly, yeah. Because like I would just, because
And
I
also
love
one
season 4.
thing,
Who
and
doesn't
they were
like season 4? It's comfy.
right, and season 4 is my number one all-time favorite season.
because
My opinion changed on Thomas in the special letter. Even though I like the Crash, but still,
Hey, yo, Mike,
he was and he's a my number one all
Start first.
of my
Start first.
of my friend characters. And also I know who's in third place. Oliver the Great Western Engine. Second place is Henry the Green Engine, and number one is Edward.
Edward, honestly, is mine.
And also, honestly, my number one favorite Thomas in first episode is going to be Edward's exploit. And
I mean, Edward's exploit has honestly been great. But Old Iron too. I love Old Iron as well. Don't forget about Old Iron.
that Old Iron is my second favorite.
Honestly, what about the Runaway? The Runaway. Oh, that's my favorite. Reminds me of the Crazy 8 incidents. The Crazy 8 incident. Literally.
Crazy 8 is doing with the C6. And also, there were some people that claimed to break the world scene's speed record with the Mallard.
I heard people say that.
And also, the New York Central Niagara number 500. Also, the New York Central Hudson's Streamline J800s. And also some of the Pennsylvania K4s, or even Union Pacific 844, or Chesapeake and Ohio 614, because they have a higher top speed rate, 844 at 124 miles an hour, and 614 at 125 miles an hour.
Yep, they do. Like, basically of their engines, to be honest, like, we should do like a show night, of watching any favorite episodes we like about Thomas. And Grandpa will be my favorite, and of course the narrow gauge engines too. Any store of the narrow gauge engines, I like them. I like all of them.
Right, too. My Renee's is my boy too.
Honestly, Scallon engine, that would be my favorite. Reminds me of Edward's exploits, to be honest. It's like Scallon engine.
Me too. And one thing. And also, the Pennsylvania Road S1 duplex was estimated to beat Mallard's record at 156 miles per hour, but tragically, because due to its insanely large, big chunk, unspeakable power size, it can only operate on only one particular part of the Pennsylvania road system, which are Chicago, Illinois, and Crystal, Ohio. It's too big. Form over function, which is the opposite of function over form. Completely window and right.
Yeah.
And if it was successful, then it could have beaten Mallard's record.
Oh, definitely. And I 100% guarantee that.
Streamlining wouldn't have gotten away with maintenance.
I mean, this isn't like the Great Race where Thomas was just imagining he was just being faster because we had and just crashed. Oh God, I'm sorry. That meme never gets old to me. To be honest, that meme literally like whenever time I hear that song, I just imagine Thomas crashing into something.
Hello.
Hey.
Finally got my mic fixed.
Well, I can still hear an echo, but okay, that's fine.
Just
lower your volume. Just lower your volume.
Next, Yuki profile pic.
Oh yeah. Honestly, starting to like Ami. Hi, Pop Ami. I mean, honestly, I think I like Ami. I know people say why because he's obviously voice actor as Jenny. I get it. Yes, I get it.
And also the same with Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender, having the same.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I forgot about that show. Yeah. Oh my.
Is this better?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's really.
Alright.
Just try to lower down our mic volume. How about that? To keep that. I'm lower that mic. Right here.
I lowered mine to volume 29. Do y'all still hear an echo?
No.
Okay.
Okay, now I hear it. Well, move
Ah,
it down.
dang it.
No, it's right here. Wait, I don't hear it.
Oh,
It's
goodness.
Just
gone.
changed mine into Qatar.
Go ahead.
Uh,
There we go.
This is better.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, great. And we can still hear the echo, but it's not loud though. As long as there's an echo, like at least lower the volume of it. Any other engines we want
Right.
to Malaysia?
well, we need to get on with the topic of the tank engines because we're talking about really useful tank engines, not the ones that were failures. Let's get on to the bottom of this. Let's
Honestly,
talk
we're
about
gonna
the
talk about the
Boston
E2
and
class
Albany
bluestones.
466 tank engines because those were much successful than the 61 infamous 6102. I'll send you the link to private chat, Manuel, so you can read it. Here you go.
Hmm?
Have
Who's
it?
reading this one?
Reading that one. Who wants to read that one? I think I'll
You
read
can
it.
read it, Manuel.
Okay, sure. Sure. All right. Oh, okay. The Boston and the Albany 466 locomotive. Okay. Or also known as the Class D-1A local base 42. Okay. All right. Data from wait, hold on. Let me just try finding the sentence. Oh, here it is. Okay. I was correct. All right. Data from NYC1 in 1946, locomotive diagram book supplied in May 2005 by Alan Stalin. Wait, Alan. Oh wait, it's Alan Stanley. Oh God, Stanley, the Great Discovery movie. Oh God, it's happening again. I'm sorry.
No!
I'm sorry, Stanley. Welcome, Stanley. Sorry. From his extensive rail data exchange. Many thanks to. Oh, hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't have to read that one. I could just go to the other page. Okay. 5 large, boilered suburban passenger engines with fixed tender supported by 3-axle trailing truck for running in both directions. Jury 1993 describes them as quote big boil oh, sorry boilered oh there you go boilered engines that looked
Under
like
pressure.
consistent
Balance for 177 injuries.
exactly okay and consisted telescope very apparent NYC's New York City's Hudson's. The evidence also shows that they were driven from the earlier 2-6-62 D1s that were rebuilt by Lemia in the late 1920s. Chris Hall points out that the engines later received thicker tires, which increased driver diameters to 64. Alvin Sadfer, a steam power of the New York Central System in 1961, reported that they were, quote, amazingly powerful and tireless for their size, capable of handling up to 20 steel coaches. Oh, wow, there were actually so many coaches that were made of steel back then. Huh. I thought they were only made from wood. I mean, I know that from the great 1918 accident that happened with the steam engines. Anyways, Nolan Weaver of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, responded to a threat begun on September 26, 2005, with a post dated with on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2004, 2:57 in the morning. In the answer to the question that began the thread, Weaver said that this class, quote, operated mostly between Boston and Riverside via the Highland branch and mainline. They probably also ran to Framingham on a more or less regular basis too. These were the RS-3s and the GP-7s, all-purpose first generation of diesels of steam ERA as they could and they did ran quite well in reverse. Quote, they ran right up until the time that the diesels arrived maybe in the late 1940s or the very earliest 1950s. I don't think they were regularly used anywhere else on the system after they were replaced by diesels in Boston. Eddie Bear added on Wednesday, December 22nd, 2004, at around 7:57 a.m., quote, I think they might have been gone to Melford too. In one of the trains album of the New England Railroad, Secra in 1940s, there's a photo of one of them at speed at the Weston Park curve by the golf course west of Riverside. Let me see. Well, here we have some of the stuff right here, Like the railroad was owned by, of course, the Boston and Albany, of course, NYC, New York
And
City.
then it was acquired by the New York Central.
Oh yeah, that's what it says here too. Yeah, New York
And
Central
I
too.
know that all of them had been scrapped.
Dang.
Tragically, all of them had been scrapped.
It's like new
And it's
today
just a particularly crying shame we just
environment,
lost them. There
Something
was
like
such
that.
uniqueness to them. And imagine they should have been preserved at a railway museum. It would be nice if they preserved it at a railroad museum. Or they could have displayed it at a train station on at Riverside and the Highland branch. And it could have been restored to running condition, right, Manuel? Could have happened.
Mm. What'd you say? Sorry.
No. Sorry. So that was when we were talking. So would it be nice if these locomotives would have been preserved the Boston Albany 466T tank engines? And I know that only 5 of them were built.
To
They
be
were
honest, I would
classified
just like
as D1A. And they should have been preserved in the first place at the Riverside train station in Riverside, Massachusetts, and they could have been restored to running condition and use. To this day, been at least a full-size replica of it. In America, start rebuilding a lot of your extinct steam locomotives. Don't just sit there and just care about popular overrated engines. Start caring about the extinct steam locomotives instead of the T1, so they'll deserve a chance.
yes. Well, listen. Um, like honestly, if I had to choose a different type of steam engine, I would probably go with some of the ones that the Union Pacific and Southern Pacific have made back in the 80s. Kind of like the Transcontinental Railroad. Is that what they call it? I don't know. Because the North and South they were fighting in a civil war because of slavery. Yeah, I never read that. But okay, do you want to read the other engine?
There is another engine like the 266T tank engine. I'm gonna find it at steamlocomotive.com.
Okay.
Steamlocomotive.com. Right. 266 locomotives in the USA. Just gonna look, just looking for it. Anyways, I found the one on Wikipedia. So, Ralph and Catron Productions, are you here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing a game right now, but yes, I am.
But you should also read the next locomotive, which is the 266T tank engine.
I can't right now. I'm playing a game right
Hey,
now.
you, Alan. You can do it, Alan.
Yeah, let Alan read, dude. Come on. I've been the one that's been reading the entire time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Just give someone a chance. Don't just.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't just do it all
yeah,
yourself, to be honest.
I would like to do it. So
Go
now
ahead.
here's this.
Alan, you can press the small, tiny link in the private chat.
Yeah,
Make
don't
sure to
worry,
find the
bro. It's safe.
T66T.
Okay.
This ain't a scam, mate. Honestly.
All right, so here's the 266T in the
Quiet
oh,
notation.
oh man, because of my background again. My brother's doing noises while I'm in the live, but also
In the white
Don't worry.
notation for describing
the white
Don't worry,
notation
Alan.
of describe in the white
and
notation
helping him.
describing steam locomotive wheel arrangement and 266 is a locomotive with a two-wheeled leading truck, six driving wheels, and a six-wheeled trailing truck. All the locomotives produced of this arrangement have been tank locomotives, and the vast major fleet belongs to the United States. It was a popular arrangement for the larger Mason bogies as well as some of the largest suburban tank locomotives. And that's it, right?
Well, keep reading most of
Right,
them.
and
There's some more.
also let me find. And also, there were other railroads that used the 266 locomotives in the USA, like in the Chicago and Eastern Illinois, Chicago Rock Island Pacific, aka the Rock Island for short, Denver South Park and Pacific Railroad, the Boston Alabama and the New York Central, Hudson River Railroad and New York Central, the Chicago Northern Pacific, and the Philadelphia and Reading, aka the Reading Railroad for short. And there were also some other roads that used the 266 tank engine wheel arrangement in Mexico, Cuba, and Brazil. There's only one surviving example of a 266 locomotive in the USA, but it's a 15 gauge at Morrison, Colorado. It's in running condition, and it's named Mary Ross. And it was built, probably might have been built in 2014, and was number 12. And I just wish they should have preserved it in the first place. Because
Yeah.
it's just a particularly crying shame that we keep losing a lot of extinct steam locomotives that were so good. Right, Manuel?
Yeah, I see. Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't you just preserve them? But instead, we should build a full-size replica of it one of these days in the not too distant future. So don't just sit there and think about other popular engines. Start caring about other steam engines instead. Blah 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 blah. Well, it's just has nothing. Albeit that has nothing to do with their business. They just don't. It's uh, just what's the point of overlooking these locomotives? Just why? What? Why? What? Why? Just why? Why?
It's like,
Why?
why? Why? Why would you do that? Like,
Wow,
why?
wow,
How
wow,
could you
wow,
make
wow.
overlook most of the locomotives? Shh. But anyways,
Or
I'm gonna
worse,
talk
and
about
like
another
the
locomotive,
women are
which is
like
the
putting money
GWR
instead of for
class.
charity.
We should
They're
talk about
dispensing with
Oliver's
insulting.
class. We should talk about Oliver's class.
Honestly, we already know what Oliver's class is. A
It's a
1411 train.
1400. It's a 1400.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
1400 class. You could talk about it.
All right, sure. Okay.
Do you know the information?
A little bit of it, but yeah. Yeah, go.
Here's the link for it in the private chat.
Got it. Oh, yes, my boy Oliver. Oliver.
Mr. Oliver!
Did you listen to the Great Western is one of the oh god, the Great Railway. You know. Okay. All right, let's talk about the GWR 14,000 class or 1400 to be exact. But what does the GWR stand for? Well, we all know. We saw Thomas, the Great Western Railway, of course. The GWR 1400 is a class steam locomotive designed by the Great Western Railway for the branch line work. It was originally classified as the 1400 class when introduced in the 1930s and then renumbered in 1940s. Although credit to Charles Cowlett, the design dated back 1868 with the introduction of George Armstrong 1517 class. Okay, I want to try reading some right here. Okay, yes, okay. Service, so if you guys can see the 4800 was designed as a more modern version of the 517 class, which were by then beginning to show the real age. The first locomotive, number 4800, was built by Swindon Works, entered in 1932. Oh wow, just before the Great Depression happened. Wow. With a further 74 engines on this type following up to 1936. During this period, Swindon also built 25,800 class engines, which were broadly similar, but which were not fitted with a train equipment or the Swindon top feed, as later fitted to a number of 48,000 class engines. The 48 class locomotives retained their original numbers until the GWR, the Great Western Railway, decided to experimental convert 12 2800s class, the 2-8-0s, for oil filling. It was decided that the converted engines would be reclassified as the 4800 class, and so the 75 tank locomotives already carrying this designation, the designation, where were reclassified as a 1400 class with running numbers 1400 to 1474. The engines did not revert to their original classification after the experiment ended in 1948. They could reach a maximum speed of 80 miles per hour, which was much faster than the diesel rail cars designed to replace them could reach, which were the terrible diesel rail cars from the British at the beginning. I'm sorry.
Which ones are you talking about?
About the diesel rail cars of the British worst diesel rail cars. They sucked.
You mean the Pacer trains?
Yes. Yes.
Yo,
I mean,
hate
not all of them suck, but some of them,
it's
some
like
of
a
them did
British
real bad.
rail. They just keep wasting all the goddamn money on
Like, oh
every
my
diesel
God,
that they're
like-
replacing. They got a lot of bad diesels from
I know.
extremely
Exactly.
abysmal
Well,
satanic
not all-
second, the
Well, not
absolute
gonna
worst
lie.
railroad or railway fuel during kind of British American locomotive works, and a lot of them end up being bad. A lot of diesels and electrics and maglev trains and a few of their steam locomotives. Every
Let's
time
continue the reading.
I
Okay.
see them, the British
All right, the
railways, and they
1400 class
also
was
use
designed to
buses,
work.
which are slower than trains, and every time I see their stupid logo, and every time they have disappointed us.
Honestly. Anyway, the 1400 class was designed to work with the GWR design of auto coaches, a specialist coach designed for push-pull working and which could also be used with engines of other classes such as the 517s, the GWR 54,000 class, the GWR 64,000 class, and the older GWR 2021 class. These are still in service even to this day. That actually serves it up. This lack of auto gear was the cause earlier scrapping of the 5800 class as there was no work for them. Wow, just like Toby's old branch line when he had no work because the lorries took over the railway. Well, anyways, the last engine, number 5815, was withdrawn from Sweden's shed in April 1961. The auto-fitted locos fared little better. Scrapping commenced in 1956, and all within were withdrawn by early 1965, numbers 1442. And 1450 were withdrawn from Exmouth Junction Shed in May 1965. By the earlier 1960s, however, several had been in store. and they were, and quote, they were parked in an out of the way siding with a trampoline over the chimney for some time, being casually steamed to replace failed diesels. And right here we have a picture about most of the engines, to be honest. There's actually an engine even to this day, and they call it the 1442 still there actually. And it's being preserved in a museum right here. And it was resting place on Blunders Road, Treventon, and photographed in 1968. And it's still, honestly, I would say we don't know even to this day if that's still there or not. But if someone can tell me, like, leave a comment below, in the end of the stream. And wow, like these engines literally, like, they were so great, to be honest. I mean, one of them did get involved with an accident actually that was inspired by the episode Oliver Owns Up. One of their engines being, like, I think we have the picture about it. Hold on. Here, let me just find it. Just a second. I have the picture. I have so many files of so many trains. Why do I have so many files about that? Okay, there it is. Well, I'm right here, and photos, right? Okay, I got it. All right, Leisha, permission to share my screen?
Right.
I got it. Honestly, it was based off this. Yeah, literally. One of their engines, the 1411 train, literally just jump off the tracks like that, just like how it was from the episode Oliver Owns Up. Honestly, I'm actually so surprised that they didn't even scrap them. I mean, I told so many rail fanners, even on the servers, even like Alex and the others and the other friends I have, I honestly told them, and like they say, like, that engine's not scrap, it suffered a little damage, but like it's still running. And I'm like, well, is it still running in today? And they're like, no, it was scrapped like later. And I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of stuff. But yeah, they did get involved with one incident though, and that was honestly inspired by, of course, we already know from what episode was this from? Well, I don't even have to say, to be honest, because we already know. Literally, it was from episode. Oh god, I just need to find it. Literally, hold on, and literally just like this, except it's different. I'm actually surprised I didn't even know the driver was there. Look, he's so tiny.
Yo, look at the driver.
He's like.
Anyways,
just
you
happened?
should talk about its preservation.
The preservation? Okay, got it. Okay, preservation. Okay, for examples have been preserved, all late withdrawals from service in 1963 to 1965. Oh wow, 3 years. Oh well, no, wait, no, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years,
Still left.
2 years. Period. All went direct to preservation for British Railways in relatively good conditions. Local numbers in bold mean their current number. Okay, then we do have a graph here about most of the preservation, and there's actually photographs about one of them. And oh my god. Okay, I think I might have to share it to you guys because I think this has to be serious. And
How much are there?
well, look, this is the one that we saw right there. That's still there.
Yo!
And this one's just like,
Oh my god!
I know. And look, this.
Now that is horrifying.
Okay.
Now that's just okay. That just is literally is.
And that's it. That's actually it to me. It.
That's it.
Yeah, look, most of them. Right here they have the surface life. This one was served for 31 years.
Now serving for 31 years as an engine is really just common.
And then this one was served for 30 years and 1 month. What? No way.
30 years and with 1 month.
Wow, that's like, that does not make sense. Like what? Like what is this? Okay, this engine was service life with 29 years and 10 months. Okay, that's not bad.
39 years and 10 months.
Okay, that's all right. now let's talk about this one. This one was 27 years and 10 months. Okay, not too shabby. Still the same as the other one, but okay, it's fine.
Okay.
And it says here was the first example to be preserved, being sold to the Great Western Railway for 750 pounds in April 1964. Oh wow.
Mmm.
And let's see about this in fiction. During the 1952 production of Early comedy, the Trade Fight Thunderbolt, 14 X's locomotives numbers 1401 and 1456, doubling as 1401, was specifically assigned to film a shoot, which took place primarily in the Lemberg stroke area. For this, the locomotives were temporarily allocated to Westbury Locomotive Depot. Oh, wait a minute! I think one of the 1411 trains were in a movie where like the engineers turned up the turntable with the 14X engine and started driving it through the streets of the town.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Tiff
Talking about the-
Thunderbolt.
Oh,
I was just about to say that.
That's the movie. It's the movie. Right there, it says. Oh wow.
I saw little scenes of it, but I like it actually.
Honestly, I kind of like it to be honest.
I'm gonna try to
Honestly,
watch
I
them.
would insert the Cars 2 theme song of Pin Vista right now and just do that. I would be that
too.
kind of guy.
And also,
My favorite
man,
part is
I
the
just noticed
locomotive
that-
versus the steamroller
I
scene.
just noticed that we
Oh,
were originally
yeah,
supposed to talk
yeah.
about Percy's bases,
That's
but
like something
I
that
know
all the
that
people
Percy
do,
is
like,
the
that's
only
all the
Steam
types
team
of
member to
Steam
now have a
Forge, the
consistent
steamrollers.
basis.
Honestly. Oh my god.
So we should talk about Duck's bases.
Of course, we all know another fiction too, Oliver in the Railway series, in its adaptation of Thomas and Friends, and is a member of the class too. And of course, he carries a brakeman named Toad. Oh wow! Wait, he's actually based on a real life. Look,
GWR 20-ton brake vans?
I did not know that. I thought that they just made it up. Oh my god.
You thought they made it up?
Yeah, I thought they made
Guys,
it up. I thought they made it up.
Yeah,
I
like-
predicted this when I was
Okay, calm down. Alright.
Guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yo,
Told you.
Calm down.
let me read this one.
Okay, fine.
Gotta wait for this to load. Okay. The Great Western Railway 5700 class is a class of 060 pannier tank steam locomotive built by the Great Western Railway and British Railways between 1929 and 1950. God dang, 21 years now, that's crazy. With 863 built, they were the most prolific class of the Great Western Railway, and one of the most numerous classes of British steam locomotive. Although originally designated by GWR as light goods and shunting engines, they were also used for passenger working on branch, suburban, or shorter mainline journeys. Take the Cardigan branch, for example. Anyway, they were distributed across most of the Great Western network, and after nationalization of the railways in 1948, around the western region of British Railway, and also other regions. The 5700s were not as large as the GWR Castles or Kings, but became just as much as an icon of the Great Western due to their iconic design and quantity. As a result of the 1955 modernization plan, the 5700 class was drawn from BR service between 1956 and 1966. 19 withdrawn locomotives were sold to the London Transport and Industry, of which 10 were later preserved along with 6 that were retrieved from scrapyards. Now background information. The GWR started designing and building 060 tank engines in 1860, and this continued into the BR era until 1956, with a total of 2,393 being built. The GWR also used 060 tank engines from other manufacturers' designs from its subsidiary and absorbed railway stock. And since 1898, it always had at least 1,000 tank locomotives in stock. The early 060 tank engines were fitted with either saddle tanks wrapped over the boiler, or side tanks mounted at the side of the boiler and reaching down to the running platform or flip plate. GWR first fitted pannier tanks mounted on the side of the boiler but not reaching down to the running platform. In 1898 to 9 440 tank locomotives, and in 1901 to 5 060 tank locomotives, which were also fitted with Belfair fireboxes. The shape of the Belfair firebox gives a large surface area, which improves heat transformation. Heat transfer and steam production. God, I'm slow. But their rectangular shape made them different to combine with saddle tanks. Locomotives fitted with pannier tanks had a lower center of gravity than those with saddle tanks, enabling higher speeds on curves, and access for maintenance is easier than for those fitted with side tanks. George Churchward's period as chief mechanical engineer from 1901 to 1921 is well known for significant improvements in locomotive design and manufacture. As the development of standard designs, however, the scope of the standard designs did not include the 060 tank locomotive, and the GWR did not introduce any new 060 tank engines from 1897 to 1928, with exception of the GWR 1361 class of 5 060 saddle tanks in 1910. However, pannier tanks and Belpaire fireboxes became the standard for the rebuilding of various 060 tank locomotives, projected in 1902 and getting fully underway by 1910. The rebuilding program also included a number of other changes, including improved cab designs, eventually becoming fully enclosed, superheating, which by 1929 had been found to have little benefit on shunting engines, adaptation for working with auto coaches, for push-pull trains, auto working for another example, increasing boiler pressures. For example, the various rebuilds of the GWR 2721 class started at 115 pounds by force per square inch, 1/300th MPa, or I don't know what that meant, increasing to 165 pounds by force, or per square inch. I'm not going to read the other one. And then came to 180 pounds by force, or per square inch. Alright.
It was 1.4 MPa.
I know. I just don't feel like repeating it again.
Hey, Max.
Masturbation.
Alright.
Hey, Max.
Whoa!
Yes,
Let
welcome
me-
back.
Can I finish?
Today,
Yeah, go ahead.
Today, me and Max went.
Hey,
to
Alan. Let Stratford talk. Go ahead,
Okay.
Stratford.
Alright. With the completion of grouping in 1923, GWR's collection of 060 tank locomotives was expanded with the stock from 28 acquired companies. The acquired tank locomotives came from different manufacturers, were a mixture of side, saddle, and pannier, and varied widely by size and state of repair. In addition, GWR's stock was wearing out, and a variety of classes of problematic for maintenance and rostering. Colette had to produce a new standard design for 060 pannier tanks. The result was the 5700 class. Now on to design. The first batch of 300 locomotives built between 1929 and 1931, god dang, 2 years, included a medium-height chimney, a mid-boiler dome, safety valve with cover, and an enclosed cab. They were similar in appearance to older 060 tank engines that had been rebuilt as pannier tanks, particularly the later rebuilds of the 2721 class. The 2721 class was itself a development of the 1854 class, which in turn was based off the 645 class. specification. The table below gives the technical specifications of the 5700 class. Values are from GWR diagram B48. I'm not going to read all this, but I don't want to share it either.
But anyways, you can skip on to the preservation. You can skip on to the preservation. I'll read it for. I'll start reading you the preservation.
I can do it. Okay. Preservation. 16 5700 class locomotives have been preserved. 8 are from the original 5700 class, and the other 8 are from 8 are members from the 8750 subclass. 11 are Swindon-built class members, which with the remaining 5 being from outside contractors. Of the 16 engines, 5 are currently operational. 4 of the class have worked mainline trains: 7715, 7752, 7760, and 9600. As of 2020, none of these engines are mainline certified. 7715, 7752, 7760, and 9600 are stored out of service awaiting overhauls. 2 locomotives are on static display and 2 are in store. 6 locomotives are undergoing or waiting for maintenance. 1 locomotive, number 9629, is being restored and has not been seen since it was seen to Barry Scrapyard in 1965. A number of those bought from London Transport, which had been maintained by British Railways, were still in running order and were used on heritage railways with minimum work. Number 5764, London Transport L95, was steamed the day as it arrived at Bridgenorth on the Southern Valley Railway, being lit up before it had been removed from the low rotor on which it was delivered. As of June 2018,
Yes.
number 7752, London Transport L94, and 5786, London Transport L92, can be seen running in the maroon livery of London Transport. The number 7715 London Transport L99 is currently out of service. The locomotives that were preserved after NCB, National Coal Board, and industrial use required rather more work than those acquired from London Transport. Some had been laid up for some time after being withdrawn, and had received very little, if any, maintenance. Of the 12 5700s that were sent to Barry Scrapyard, 5 were saved for preservation, and 1, number 3612, was bought for spares by the Southern Valley Railway.
I'm a proud communist.
Anyways, sorry for raising my voice. Here's some that were preserved. 3650 or 8750 was withdrawn in 1963 and bought by Stevenson Clark to work in a South Wales colliery. It was later bought by a Great Western Society GWS member and moved to Hereford. It was then moved to the Didcot Railway Centre around 1970 for full restoration and was restored to service in 2008. It was withdrawn in 2016 for overhaul, which is in progress. 3738, 8750. What? Okay, now I'm confused. Anyway, number 3738 was withdrawn in 1965 and sent to Barry Scrapyard. It was also bought by two GWS members and taken into Didcot Railway Centre in 1974 and restored to full use in 1975. After overhauls, it last returned to service in 2007. It was taken out of service in 2013 because of firebox problems and is on static display. 46.
Very interesting.
Okay. 4612 what was withdrawn in 1965, sent away to scrapyard, and later bought by the Keith Wentworth Valley Railway, or KWVR for short, in 1981 for spares. It was then bought privately in 1987 and was restored by the Swindon Railway Workshop. After restoration was complete in 2001, number 4612 was moved to the Bottom and Wentford Railway, which now owns the locomotive, and returned to service in 2013 following a 10-year overhaul. 5764 L95 number was sold to the London Transport in 1960 and renumbered L95, like I said. It was also sold to the Southern... God dang it, I'm slow. It was sold to the Southern Valley Railway in 1971, and was operational less than a month after last being used on London Transport. It was last used on New Year's Eve 2010, and is currently yes, it says that.
Nice.
And is currently, as of March 2019, on display in the engine house in London Transport livery.
You should read the ones in fiction. You should read in fiction.
What? What's the hell's going on?
Wow.
Okay,
Stop.
can I please finish?
No, I think I'm good. I think I'm going to talk about how the Penn Central is the best railroad ever.
Okay,
No, it's not. It's
okay,
been
Alex, just
failure
stop.
admissible. So let me read the one in fiction. So number 5775 on the Kayla and Worth Valley Railway, featured in the film The Railway Children, painted brown and lettered GNNSR, Great Northern, which stands for short, alright, and which is Great Northern and Southern Railway for long. And then in May 2014, number 5775 was moved to the National Railway Museum in Shildon, in the United Kingdom, for a cosmetic restoration back to the livery used in the film. And also, I'm gonna ask also, Duck the Great Western Engine and Thomas and Friends, and in the Railway Series books by the Rev. W. Naudry, and in the series Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, it's a 5700 class pannier tank. In the books, his number was number 5741. However, it was stated that his number was really not his original. 5764 appeared several times in the 1976 BBC television adaptation of Charles Dickens' short ghost story, The Signalman.
Arnold Dickens. I love Charles Dickens. Hey, does Charles Dickens have a good dick?
Whoa!
Oh,
Yo, what the heck is wrong?
Max.
you should never have been.
I'm just gonna ignore the fact I was cut off by Alex. By Alan.
I was just...
Yeah, and then also earlier today, me and Max went to Ridgefield Park.
Didn't you already tell that?
Yeah.
Well, Charles
told it
Dickens,
to
he was born
Manuel.
on February 7th, 1812 to June 9th of 18, and he passed away on June 9th of 1870. That was 118 years before the voice actor of Amity, Katara, Rose from American Dragon, Tinkerbell, and Barbara Gordon, and Batgirl, and other Mae Whitman characters, including the ones in Big Mouth and Family Guy and Big Mouth.
Bread.
Family Guy and Big Mouth. Mae Whitman was born.
Bread. You like bread?
What are you eating?
Bread.
Can I finish?
Kind of bread.
No.
Go ahead.
You can
Let's try to
finish. Talk about the models. Trains.
Model trains, there's so much model trains.
Model
Most of
rails.
them are just, some of them are good.
Okay. Since Alan read 5775, I'll just continue on down the list. 5786 L92, part of the 5700 class, was sold to London Transport in 1958 and was renumbered to the same number I just said. It was sold to the Worcester Locomotive Society in 1969, nice, and was based at Bulmer's Railway Center until 1993. Since then, it has been on loan to the South Devon Railway. It returned to service in 2013 in the maroon livery of London Transport. Number 7714 was drawn in 1959 and sold to the National Railway Coal Board. God dang it! NCD for short. It was bought by SVR, Southern Valley Railway, in 1973, and was first steamed in 92, and after an extensive overhaul, withdrawn from service in 2009. The engine re-entered service after overhaul in late November 2016. God dang it. 7715 was sold to London Transport in 1959 and renumbered to L99. It was bought by the London Railway Preservation Society in 1968 and was later certified for mainline operation by British Rail. Number 7715 has worked specials on London Transport and has been loaned to other heritage railways and operators, but was withdrawn from service because of a cracked boiler foundation ring. It returned to Quainton in May 2014 and is awaiting the necessary repairs to return it to service. 7752 was sold to London Transport in 59 and renumbered to L94 in 1971. Number 7752 was hauled the last steam train on the London Underground. It was immediately bought by 7029 Castle Ltd for sure. I don't know the actual word for that. Anyway, and is certified for...
It's limited. It's limited. That's what LTD stands for.
Thank you. Castle Limited. And is certified for mainline operation. It has visited various heritage railways and was outshopped in London Transport livery in 2011. To celebrate the 40th anniversary of the last run on London Underground.
Sorry, Stratford, if I interrupted you, but I need to tell you guys something. I actually gotta go. My mom's telling me to go to sleep now because I got school tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.
All right, see you later, man.
Bye. Bye. You won't be missed. Hey guys, I got this cool soda called it's called Fresca. It's pretty much like a lemon lime soda. You know, it looks like it kind of looks like semen. It kind of looks like semen.
Hey. You should never say that.
I'm the semen master.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, no cussing in the stream.
Hey, please continue. Just leave him alone.
Rules of the road.
All right, I'm gonna do like at least. I'm gonna do 2. I'm gonna do 3 more, then I'm gonna go.
Okay. I'm actually gonna head out now. You guys try this. It's like semen.
Locomotive is to be.
I was going to attempt to kick him out, but no.
Alright. I'll read 7754 and 7760 and 9600.
Go?
They'll be the last ones I'll read. Number 7754 was withdrawn in 1959 and sold to... Oh god. Okay. Number 7754 was withdrawn in 1959 and sold to National Coal Board, NCB, and worked at various collieries until 1975, becoming the last 5700 in real, rather than heritage service. The NCB was persuaded to donate the locomotive to National Museum Wales, who loaned it to Llangollen Railway, which now owns the locomotive. After a long and expensive overhaul and the addition of parts from number 3612, which was held for spares by the Southern Valley Railway, it moved under its own power in 1993. In many years in service, number 7754 is currently out of traffic, undergoing an overhaul. Number 7760 was sold to London Transport in 1961. Renumbered L90, replacing number 7711, which was scrapped, and then sold to 7029 Castle Limited in 1971. In full working order, it had been loaned to various heritage railways and was certified for mainline operation in 2000. As of 2014, number 7760 is out of service and awaiting overhaul. Number 9600 was withdrawn in 1965 and sold to the NCB and was in service at Marysville. I'm gonna skip that. It's at this specific colliery that has Vale in it until 1973, and then sold to 7029 Castle Limited, and its overhaul was completed in 1997. Number 9600 was certified for mainline operation in 1999, recertified in 2009, and has regularly worked excursion trains. Boiler ticket expired in 2018 and is awaiting overhaul. Alright, I'm gonna go head out. Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this stream of the unique, really useful tank engines. Just let me double check which next episode that we're gonna talk about.
Let's talk about.
We're also gonna. Oh right, so we're also gonna talk about the best diesel locomotives of all time, which includes the EMD E8, right, guys?
Bye, lads. Have a good night.
Thanks so much for watching this. As always, thank you so much for watching this live stream. Guys,
make sure to like and subscribe
next week, and make sure you should definitely subscribe to Dom Wickham, aka Stratford Studios, really agrees with me, because you should definitely, guys, subscribe to my stream. But anyways, that's all.
That's all, folks.
Again, and peace.
Later, lads.